I know one thing I liked about Germany though is you could set your clock by the bus service. You know, they were there exactly on, and it's not like that here.
Yeah, it's true. So far, we're just at the first discussion topic still, and we're talking about abundance and where we have abundance in our lives. Because we talked about the way to wealth, Benjamin Franklin's article about how we gain wealth and abundance. And so we're talking about the different ways that the different aspects of abundance. So my next question is, how does seeing abundance help us? Or maybe hurt us? How can it do? It's seeing, not having abundance, but seeing things from a mindset of abundance. How will that help us or hurt us?
Makes us more generous.
Yeah,
I like that.
we can become generous if we have abundance.
Safer.
Even if,
Yes, I guess.
you know, I think even if we don't have abundance, if we're thinking abundantly, we are more generous.
Yeah. I think too, we can be more grateful, more able to recognize our blessings.
Mhm.
If we think we have abundant blessings, then we're going to be more
Mhm.
grateful for
And
them.
who doesn't?
It depends on who you give the credit to for your
Mhm.
abundance, which, you know, back
Of
years
course.
ago when
I'm just
the
saying.
secret came out.
Yes.
So, that whole, there,
Yeah.
mindset of abundance, I don't know if I will offend any of you, but to me, the way it looked to me is that they were giving credit to their own, you know, positive thinking and not, you
Yeah.
know, so in that way, I think we get lost, thinking that we're all powerful. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the Book of Mormon probably gives some of the best and clearest examples of some of the negative effects of abundance. Because every time the people got in abundance, they tended to forget the source of their abundance,
Yeah.
became proud and haughty and self-interested, and then the society fell apart. They got reminded of where their abundance came from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it can be hurtful or helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. I think too, some of the harm comes in comparing. When we're
Mhm.
thinking about how much more we have than everyone else,
Yeah.
and how much that somehow makes us better
Right. Yeah.
than other people.
Defines who we are.
Yeah.
I struggle with it where I live. Because sometimes I'll sit in my house and I'll go, this is the most beautiful house we have ever lived in. And look, I have ceiling fans and I have hardwood floor, you know, and it just feels so good. And then I'll think, across the street,
You remember across
Yes.
the street?
there's mansions. You know?
Well, you can go across the fence and go
then
down,
that's-
or you can go across the street and go up.
Yeah.
And then we had our little daughter live with us who was, you know, didn't have any income, and just she and her husband would have given anything to have an opportunity to live over in those little apartments, you know. So it just really is a matter of
A perspective
point of view,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, we have that same thing across the canal.
Yeah, we
It's
noticed.
drastically
That's
different.
huge houses
Yes.
over there.
Yes.
New Orem.
I
Yes.
think the point you were making about forgetting where our abundance comes from, hopefully we could solve part of that by believing there's abundance when we're not abundantly rich.
Mhm.
If we have that mindset when it's not, if we create that mindset for ourselves before there is abundance, and we also create the generous part of ourselves, then when the abundance comes, I think hopefully we've taken care of some of that. If you know,
Yeah.
if we're thinking kingdom first, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but there's abundance in, you know, he's so
They have
abundantly
full
blesses us.
abundance because there's having abundance of spiritual blessings
Right.
as well as an abundance of material wealth.
Right.
You know, and we do have that too. Here we're in the middle of Christ's church. It surrounds us. We're so abundantly surrounded in it that our biggest problems are our own mistakes. You know, because everybody's a member of the church, and we watch members of the church not take advantage of their blessings, whereas you get outside of here and you're surrounded by non-members of the church. And so I think you appreciate an abundance that you may have in a different way, because they still have an abundance because they are members of the church.
Yeah. I like too that we're talking about some things that are not material that we can have an abundance of. And I've tried and I've talked to Karen about it too, about switching my mindset to an abundance of time. And just thinking, I have all the time in the world. And when I think that way, my anxiety goes down and my enjoyment goes up. And the reality is we're at this one little moment of eternity that went on before forever and will go on after forever. And so this I don't have time statement doesn't really make that much sense in that perspective, you know.
Yeah.
I don't have time to learn this or do that, or well, we get to choose for the most part what we do with our time. And it's true that we can't do all of it right now. So that is true, but we really do have this abundance of time to continue to learn and try and develop and do.
I need to hang out with you more often.
I'm
trying to convince myself.
I've been working hard on that one because my anxiety goes up when I just say, oh, I don't have time.
I say it to myself this way, we're already in eternity, so what's the problem? We are already, it's always already open forever to us, you know.
That's
So,
awesome.
Yeah.
I'll try to convince myself that I couldn't come tonight and I couldn't make myself not stay home.
I love it. So I was also thinking too, when we were talking about abundance can be a good thing and a bad thing. I agree, and I mean, what we do with our abundance and how we see it and who we give credit to is where the good and the bad comes from. But I'm believing more and more that God wants us to have abundance. That's His, He promises all that He has. So that means to me that He wants that for us. He wants us to be in abundance. And the reason why people get to abundance and then He has to take it away is because they're not ready for it. They're not giving Him credit for
And
it.
He almost doesn't have to take it away, we lose it.
Yeah,
You know,
we give it up.
We give it
Because
up.
Satan doesn't want us to have abundance. And you see, wherever Satan rules, there isn't abundance. The reason our world does not have abundance nowadays is not because it's disappearing and we're using it up. It's because we're not handling it righteously.
Yeah.
Because we have leaders in countries that are deliberately taking away abundance from their people, destroying the abundance so that they can keep control of their people. It's not that in any way it isn't there, it's just being taken away and controlled.
Well,